All right. So, hey everyone, my name is Harry Whelchel. I've got here Stefan Pretty with me, CEO of Subly. We've been working together for the last couple of months. Just was pulling some data, and it looks like the last 30 days we've gotten them 17 appointments, and in the last 60 days we've done 33 appointments. Does that sound about right to you, Stefan?
Yeah, I think that's pretty accurate.
Nice. All right. So we've been getting some good results so far. A lot more good work to be done. But before we get into that, why don't we start back at the beginning? Stefan, tell me a little bit about Subly and what you guys were doing before we engaged.
Sure, yeah. So Subly is a bootstrapped startup. We are a subscription e-commerce platform, and it's a pretty tall ask trying to build an e-commerce platform from scratch bootstrapped. um, but yeah, when Harry and I connected uh, way back originally, I we were doing literally nothing. It was just all pure product focus and um, some minor marketing activities, but I knew deep down that there was another level, another gear, and we were nearly ready to start accelerating. From a walk to a jog, and that's when I saw Harry's message and it resonated with me. So,
Nice.
and when I say message, it wasn't that he messaged me; it was that I saw his website actually. It resonated with me. So,
Yeah. So, yeah, how did you first hear about Combo Panda and like what piqued your interest then?
um, I believe I saw your comment somewhere. I can't remember; it was so long ago now. But I clicked on your website and I read it, and I was like, this guy gets it. It was the first thing that came to my mind. I was like, this guy understands it, and that's somebody I want to work with. Period. And in fact, at that point, I didn't even have a plan for what we're doing now. It didn't exist. And then we had obviously multiple conversations, and yeah, I was excited, and I think that where we are now is a testament for that natural progression. It was a natural evolution from those initial conversations. And obviously, what also excited me was that you were excited because we were a fit for you as well. And I think that's emphasized my excitement even more. It was like a perpetual loop.
That's really cool. That's awesome. So, what made you decide to want to do business with us? What ultimately made you pull the trigger on working with us?
Um, well, over time, it became not so much a decision as much as it was a need. Actually, it became a need. There was no way we couldn't do it. I think that you know I had no doubt in Kung Fu Panda's capabilities. I had, as I said, I was excited about it, and I had, it took some back and forth to eventually get to the point where it was clear on what needed to be done, and that was a collaborative effort. And then, it went from we want to work with these people to this is how we're going to work together, and this is the right solution to the problem. I guess you could call it a problem. I don't think it was necessarily a problem. It was the desire to get to the next level, and there's only so many different ways you can do that, and we identified one of the ways of doing that. So yeah, that was where the decision was made.
Cool. So, like, yeah, tell us a little bit more about like what we've done working together. What's it been like working together? What have we specifically done? What's been most valuable to you?
Um, yeah. So basically, in short, we've been doing outreach, and the process itself has involved um, coming up with a structure, a hypothesis, an actual framework, and also a message that resonates with the audience. And also, we even went through the process of finding an audience that we kind of didn't even know existed within our audience, which has allowed us to. The really big takeaway is not just sales opportunities. It's actually the learning that's come from it, which has really been quite informative for allowing us to realize what needs to be done, for the long run as a business, as well as presenting opportunities for today as well. So that's been a huge part for us. But yeah, it's been outreach, setting up demo calls, and the process at the beginning was very involved to get to that point, which was awesome.
What sort of learnings have you kind of taken away? You were talking about now, like broader learnings that the outreach process has generated for you.
Okay, broader learnings specific to the business, or broader learnings in terms? Yeah, okay. So yeah, I think we found that, although we have this general product, which addressed a problem back at the beginning 5 years ago, that there, as the industry has matured, that there are these specific pain points that speak to specific realms or rungs of customers, and our target customers, the ones that we actually really, really want to work with, have these very specific pain points that we can now double down from a product perspective and address, from all sorts of different metrics inside of their businesses. But yeah, it's been really interesting. Does that answer the question? I think it does.
Yeah. And like more about the process of working together, what's been most valuable to you in the process of working with me?
So where I am as an entrepreneur on my journey right now, I'm like a sponge. I feel like I'm back at school, and I've learned so much from you. Like a lot of it's been confirming things that I may have known, but in other words, and multiple data points that weren't really connected. But now it's like that point of like, that makes so much sense because you've articulated it exceptionally well, and the education that's come with it has been like super important for me as an entrepreneur on my journey. So
it's almost like I try and obviously get the result the client wants, which is the appointments and the new relationship with customers. But I really also think that I try and change the DNA of the founder or the people that I'm working with and help them get educated and start getting new skills and new superpowers themselves.
Yeah, absolutely. And I can attest to that because, it shows that you care. I mean, that kind of goes without saying, but the fact is that you take the time to explain something and even push me. and I said right at the beginning of the engagement, you're going to have to manage me. Like that was made clear, and you were like, okay, cool. And you have. And, I hope I've been a good sponge in this process. There's certainly going to be things that take a couple of explanations, but yeah, I mean, that's been hugely valuable, the educational component.
Nice. What results do you feel like y'all have gotten both tangibly, intangibly so far working together?
Tangibly, we've had some trial signups. We've had some verbal yeses from the ideal customers that we want to work with. Intangibly, insight. Actually, it's still kind of tangible, to be honest with you. But hey, it's a point for a different conversation. Intangibly, we have informed our roadmap for the next quarter or even 6 months. So it's going to help us position our product, and also that too, positioning for the marketing messaging and the direction that we're going to be going with our marketing is now very clear. So yeah, and as I mentioned already, the education component.
Yeah, like how about for you personally? Has your personal life changed at all and improved?
Yes and no. Yes, because I know that somebody who's very capable and responsible is managing this side of our business needs, but also not so much because there's so many calls because I have to wake my ass up early. And that's painful sometimes, but hey, like that's a really good problem to have. So
So there's some opportunity for growth around more excitement around having the demos versus being
Yeah. I mean, it's also there's so much to do already, and it's like trying to like I'm getting better at it, and this is something that you've actually coached me on, but like structuring as much as possible, but you can't falter on that. So there's no time to take a moment and be like, okay, now I can like let myself digest, but there's no time for that when you're just next thing, and that can be quite challenging. But again, it's a good problem to have. So
yeah, like I feel like I've noticed with you that like your capacity to handle more has gone up, but
yeah,
as we push more on you, you feel at the brim. It's just the brim is getting wider. You have more capacity,
100%,
but you're staying at full
100%.
capacity each month. If that makes sense.
Yeah,
That's
exactly
exciting.
that. And yeah, it is, and that's the thing that I guess I was trying to say, like about the education, like that's part of that, and it's like a muscle. You just got to strengthen it, and then after all that said, the other thing as well is learning coping mechanisms or ways of setting boundaries as well as an entrepreneur. So like to say, okay, do you know what? I'm not going to do that because I can't. And that's been really valuable as well. So the whole process has just been a massive education.
Yeah, because it's
So,
like you've been doing so much with the product, and now like you've been able to hire new people on the product side. You're putting in new processes around there. You're still involved, but you're delegating more. And then now with that, you're able to do the sales calls that we're booking for you. So all of a sudden, it's like you're wearing these new hats that the education and the demos have kind of enabled for you, and you
yeah,
yeah.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, all of it cumulatively has been awesome. So thank you.
Nice. Well, I guess how likely are you to recommend us? Like, would you, do it all over again, work with us again?
I wouldn't recommend you because you're my secret weapon.
So yeah, barring
yeah.
that.
Yeah. No, I would recommend you absolutely. I guess that statement says it all. So
And yeah, so if someone else is listening and they're on the fence, like why should they take action right now and go ahead and sign up?
I think as I said, the big value point has been the insight and education, and for that alone, you can't really put a price on it because this whole concept of R&D and putting yourself on courses, the cost is so astronomical in the long run, and you're not really being held accountable. But working with somebody like you who cares has been extremely important and critical in making sure that we are marching forward because you're invested in the results, and Harry knows his stuff. I'll tell you that, guys.
So what's next for Subway?
World domination. No. What's next? To double down on the roadmap and then accelerate the sales and scale it up.
Right. Yeah. So we're working on sales process scripting, increasing the close rates, and kind of making that part of the sales funnel dialed in now at this point, now that we've figured out lead generation and demo booking.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and applying that to marketing as well in a scalable manner.
Nice. Awesome. Well, thank you so much. This has been great.
Yeah, very welcome. Thank you.